Alright. You ready to do this, Alex? We're a little late.
Oh my gosh, so late.
I mean, 6 minutes.
All the lateness.
Alright.
This is the Player 4 Podcast. Join us each week as we talk about video games, entertainment, and pop culture, and bring in guests from the Rooster Teeth community. Player 4 has entered the game.
Hello and welcome to the Player 4 Podcast. I'm your host, Tristan, aka Chargrazier.
I'm Alex, aka Chaos Black 21.
And that's it. Man, it has been a while since I've been the one streaming the podcast. No Malachi means he's not streaming it, but it also means that we get my we get my very currently inaccurate background. Hold on.
Oh, your inaccurate background.
Yeah, I
because
screwed it
you don't
all
have
up.
Late.
I messed up.
Oh no.
I haven't done it since episode 173. It's episode 181, Alex. Player 1 Podcast. That's right. That was the title of that one. Because I was the only one there. I was all alone.
But I bet it was the best podcast ever.
Maybe? I mean, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I was pretty good.
You had nobody to steal your rightness or thunder.
It's true. I miss those days of not having my rightness and thunder stolen. Okay. I mean, look at us. I've got a new apartment. I should have thrown that in the topics.
Oh, well, you still can, because you didn't write the actual topics in the Discord chat, so I don't actually know what the topics are. For all I know, it's in there.
It's fine. I will read the topics for you, so you don't have to know them.
Oh, okay, good.
Save you all that extra effort. But we've even got live stream chat again, so look at that. Alright, so, episode 181, our topics for today are the Borderlands 3 release on Friday. Yeah, and then we want to talk about a little Everybody Loves Raiken, the D&D live play podcast we've been doing almost weekly. And then we'll probably get the flip out of here. Or not. I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah, Borderlands 3. I'll probably be the one talking about this because Tristan, I don't think, plays Borderlands. Do you?
I mean, I've played part of the way through the first game. I didn't get to the end yet. I was playing that with Malachi on his PlayStation at his house. So that was, fun, but we've only gone through like 3 bosses or something so far. And then Malachi and I recently, and by recently I mean months ago, but for one of the game nights, played the beginning of Borderlands 2 on the PC over the internet together. So we got to, I think we got up to Handsome Jack or something like that.
Where
I don't
you
remember.
what meet?
We got
first meet Handsome Jack?
I don't think so. That seems wrong. I think we got Claptrap's eye reinstalled in his face. I think that's
okay.
as far
That's
as we
very
got.
early then.
Yeah, we didn't get very far.
Okay. I was gonna say
We only played it for,
a crap ton to like actually meet Handsome Jack.
Yeah, no, I think I did that thing where I forget that Claptrap and Handsome Jack aren't the same person.
Okay.
So we got Claptrap's eye back, and that was where we stopped. We only played for like a half hour, and I was figuring out the controls and stuff for part of that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so there's Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, and then Borderlands the pre-sequel. And now Borderlands 3 is coming out at midnight on Friday, and I am actually going to pre-order it tonight and have it download while I'm sleeping, and then go through the morning. So that way it will be ready for me other than any kind of release patch that they might have.
That sounds like a plan, though.
Because it actually, for me, releases at 11 p.m. on Thursday night.
So it's only midnight Eastern time.
Yes. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and I'm looking forward to it. I beat Borderlands 1. I just recently played through Borderlands 2 a second time and beat almost all the DLC except for Hammerlock's Hunt stuff. I still actually haven't gone through all of the pre-sequel, so I do need to go back through that, but I'm not going to do that until after probably Borderlands 3.
So, can you give us a quick rundown on like what the plot and gameplay is like through Borderlands 1 and 2 and what you're hoping for in Borderlands 3?
Borderlands 1. Borderlands 1, you were basically going and trying to search for a vault. There wasn't really any direction to it too much.
What
It was
was in
pretty
the
much,
What was in the vault? Like why did you want to find the vault?
well, because it's a vault. Obviously, there's going to be loot in the vault.
Okay,
There
so
should be
you're
loot in
like
the
a
vault.
treasure hunter in the first game.
Yes, you're a vault hunter is what they call you.
Okay. So are vaults a common like aspect of the world? Are they on
They're rare.
They're rare. But there are people called vault hunters, so once a vault is
Yes.
looted, it's empty. So there must be a lot of vaults that people hunt for.
You find that out in Borderlands 2, but
I mean, this is just what I'm learning from the title. Like, if you're going to call somebody a vault hunter, and people go, "Ah, you're a vault hunter," that must mean that, like, there are vaults around to hunt. And there must be more than one, otherwise it'd be like that guy that found
Well,
that
yeah.
vault.
I'm sure in the past they've uncovered different vaults, but I wouldn't say that they knew that they were plentiful, like there's a whole ton of them. So that's Borderlands 1. Then Borderlands 2. So you have 4 characters in Borderlands 1 you can choose from, and you can play co-op with people. Borderlands 2, it's the same thing, but you get 4 new characters, and actually the 4 characters that you played in the first one end up making appearances in the second one.
As NPCs.
Yes, as NPCs. And for Borderlands 2, which was my favorite, you were not only searching for a vault, you were also trying to stop a enemy known as Handsome Jack,
Oh, he's a
who
bad
was
guy.
the head of Hyperion.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a company that, like, basically
They
do
hunt
all sorts
vaults.
of stuff. No, they don't necessarily hunt vaults, but like they make guns and they make robots, and they do a whole bunch of stuff. It's a conglomerate.
Are they kind of like, are they bad guys? Would you say they're pretty bad guys?
Handsome Jack was a bad guy. I wouldn't necessarily call. I mean, it depends. If you play through Tales from the Borderlands, then they're not really evil. They're just a-holes.
They're just they're just rude.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's Borderlands 2 is so there's an actual like a more physical story in there with Borderlands 2. And then Borderlands pre-sequel is before I know obviously it's before Borderlands 2. I don't know. I can't remember if it's actually before Borderlands 1 or if it's after, like in between Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2. But in that one, Jack isn't head of Hyperion yet.
Okay.
And you actually like kind of team up with him.
Whoa.
And I think he actually becomes a playable character through DLC.
Interesting. Okay. And so this is all a first-person shooter. I remember that it was pretty... It's still... Even though I tried Borderlands 1 like last year or the year before, it felt kind of dated as a shooter, but it played well, and I really enjoyed the art style. Would you say that's one of the selling points is the art style?
Yeah, the art style is definitely different from other games with the cell shading. So
With
that's
cell shading and like the harsh
yeah,
lines,
yeah.
the outline.
It's like a combination.
Yeah, feels kind
Right.
of like a stylized cartoon, but in 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a thing that sets it apart, and then it's also a looter shooter, what they call it. So you
Right.
basically play to try to get better weapons, and yeah, you're grinding not just for like getting levels and like getting skills. You're also grinding to get guns.
So I've also heard games like Destiny and Destiny 2 referred to as looter shooters. So they're kind of in the same vein.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just trying to make sure that I understand, exactly the genre we're talking about.
Yeah. I think Borderlands, though, like they attest that they literally have like millions and millions of different types of guns. Which, when they
Millions.
say that, it's pretty much there. It's not necessarily that there's millions and millions of guns. It's just that there's different types of each gun. Like they
And
just have
they're
different stats.
procedurally generated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they designed, 10 different guns, but then of each gun, the one you pick up could vary from any other time you pick up a gun of the same name by a point or two here or there.
Yes.
Gotcha. And then I remember there were damage types as well. So were all guns kind of set in their damage type? Like, anytime you picked up this gun, it was a fire gun? Or could you get, like, a poison version of that fire gun?
I You can get different types of them. They might be named slightly different because of the damage type.
Okay, but it might be like the blazing version of this gun versus the
Yeah.
toxic version of that gun.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
All right, I think I get you. I think I get you. And so, what do you think this 3 is going to bring to the table? It's going to make it awesome.
I don't really know. I hope there's another story again, which it looks like there is. It looks like there's two, at least from I can tell, two enemies that you kind of go up against, like two main villains. Uh, I figure that they're gonna add more with the guns, take it to the next level with that.
Oh, kick it up a notch.
Yeah, and I mean the art style is pretty much the same, but it looks, if you want to, I guess I would call it newer, since
Yeah.
it's like,
It looks cleaner. It's
yeah,
been upgraded to that new 4K shininess.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I get you.
I'm not really looking. I haven't really thought about what I'm looking for it to take Borderlands to the next level. I'd be happy if it at least captures what Borderlands 2 was for me.
Okay. And brings something new to the story.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. That makes sense. So, if we're good on that, and I feel like I am,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get your feeling, because we hadn't gotten a chance to talk about what's been going on in Everybody Loves Raiken in a while, because we've actually had Joseph around, and we don't talk about it when he's around.
Everybody Loves Raiken, one of the top D&D streams out there.
Only if you go by player enjoyment. Don't look at the view count. I'll be sad. Or do look at the view count, because then your view will be added.
Aw, yeah.
We try to be on Twitch at this channel every Tuesday around 7:30 Eastern. Plus or minus 15 minutes to half an hour, depending on technical and logistical difficulties. But lately, we've been having some difficulty getting all the players around. I think twice Guaco was traveling, so we had to miss 2 weeks non-consecutively. And then this time one of our other players had a death in the family, and so they're attending to that. So that's understandable. This isn't an accusation or anything like that. We're not mad at Guaco for traveling. It's just the reason that we missed those sessions.
Life happens.
Life does happen, and we at Everybody Loves Raiken are flexible and accommodating to our players. But
I'm just hoping that next week we'll be able to play, and hopefully we can get done what we need to get done before I have to leave.
Yeah.
Because I have to work overnight this next Tuesday, so we can play, but we have to cut off at a certain time.
So what's the very quick summary of what we've been doing since we started streaming?
We've been trying to get strong enough and enough allies to fight a green dragon, an ancient green dragon.
This legendary evil monster, and why is the party so scared of her? Like, what is this green dragon done that proves that she is as terrifying as everybody seems to think?
She destroyed the seat of Bahamut on Arcosia.
So she's destroyed a city?
Yes.
Damn.
And it was Raiken's home city.
Oh no, so you're personally invested.
Yep. Pretty much I made everyone go on this quest.
So you're the leader then?
No. Raiken occasionally leads, depending on his mood.
Depending on his mood. Aren't you a paladin? Aren't you supposed to be the leader?
Does it say anywhere that paladins have to be leaders?
No.
There you go.
And so ever since we started streaming, we began streaming because you guys entered a dungeon, and I needed a way to present the players the dungeon when I didn't have the ability to port forward and put people into Roll20 or any other form of presenting a map to the players, so I found streaming was a good way of doing it. And so you've been dungeon crawling for the last 20 sessions, I think.
Yes, and the way you show us is when you're streaming, you actually have it on an Excel sheet, right?
Yeah.
And you have a map all set up, and you have our little characters. 2 of us are Ewoks.
Because you haven't provided me character portraits.
You have my picture.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
You drew a great picture of
because
Raiken.
They haven't provided me character portraits.
Yes, one of them is Malachi.
One of them is Malachi. He needs to provide me a character portrait. I know he started drawing his character, but until a player provides me a character portrait, they're an Ewok.
Yep.
But so you've been slowly working your way through this dungeon through traps and monsters and puzzles, and then you finally
made a 50-room dungeon. And this group, unlike the last dungeon we went to, we literally have to check every.
The last dungeon, everybody was, it was at pitch black at night. You had dark vision, so you could see 60 feet around you, and you found a way to magically beeline it straight to the boss, and you got there in 2 sessions, I think.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3.
Yeah. It was like first floor was done pretty much the first session. Second floor took like half of the second session. And then you started the fight with the boss.
Yeah, didn't we we're like, man, this is taking a while because we were going through especially it was just because there's so many of us when we fight.
Yeah.
But you're like, yeah, but remember that each round is like 6 seconds, and you basically tore through all these things to get here, so it literally took you like 5 minutes.
It took you less than 5 minutes to get to the boss, like in game time, because that entire dungeon was run in combat rounds, combat ticks.
Yeah.
This dungeon I didn't want to run in combat ticks because while it was useful, I thought it was a good decision. I still think it was a good decision for that dungeon. I wanted this one. This one was a lot bigger. I wanted it to feel a little more free roamy and like you had the ability to spend time doing things and learning things. Especially because when I designed the dungeon, I fully expected the party to just walk straight here, turn this way, and oh, whoops, we accidentally found the boss immediately again. I fully expected that to happen, and instead you managed to zigzag and loop around pretty much every room of the dungeon.
Yep. But we did, as far as we know, we haven't come across room 9 yet, because...
You know, room 39, when Sam rolled his D100 to see what room he would die in, came up with 39, and I told him he was right. So,
but for this dungeon, we are currently going through. We were sent here, or we came here to find the armor of Cord, which an NPC wants to research it, while Raiken wants so he can destroy everything.
well,
So that'll be interesting if we find it.
So to be fair on that, the NPC who told you about it had been contracted by the Temple of Cord to find it, because that NPC was particularly knowledgeable in this type of thing, and they believed that she could find it. And she did narrow it down to several locations, but really, so her purpose was not specifically to research it. Her purpose was to get it back to that temple because they wanted it, and that was what she was contracted to do. Your character is particularly interested in finding it because you swore your oath, or you have devoted yourself to Cord.
Yes.
The
but there's a
parties...
lich here.
Yes, you found out that from the artifact of Ione that's traveling with you, that was gifted to the mage character by the goddess Ione herself, that this place is lorded over by a lich, which is a powerful undead mage.
Yes. And supposedly this lich has connections to the last champion of Cord, and might be the thing that's trying to destroy the armor of Cord so that it can't be used, because they hate Cord.
Because they hate Cord and their butt hurt.
They're so butthurt.
Or one of the most recent puzzles was, which god is a total asshole? Oh, it's Cord. Okay.
Yeah, and of course, the Paladin of Cord was the one that had to say it, and he didn't want to. But he asked for forgiveness before he said it.
Hopefully he gets that forgiveness.
Hopefully.
We won't know.
I won't know until the voice in the sky just deems it necessary to tell him. Or depending on my rolls.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe. Could be okay. It could be not
Lately,
okay.
my dice haven't been very helpful for me.
Yeah, they haven't?
No. I keep rolling low.
But you got those pretty new blue sandstone dice.
I know, and they started out great. And now they're just like, oh, you need to get this save? Yeah, about that.
Yeah, about that.
But it's okay. Hopefully when we go into battle, I'll get another high number for my initiative, but everyone else will get a high number, so I'll still be at the bottom. It'll be good times.
It'll be good times.
But yeah, so we traveled through, and we're at the point where we think we have narrowed down the path to finally get to the Lich. We still don't know yet, but we feel like we're hot on the trail. We came across a shrine.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. It was ominous.
What is this shrine? Wait, what happened?
There was some black onyx shrine or altar. It was a black onyx altar that had like a stained glass that had like the picture of like what was it, Vecna's symbol, or was it somebody else's symbol?
It was the symbol of Vecna.
Okay, yeah, it was a symbol of Vecna, which is what we figured based off of the Ione little floaty guy.
The little floaty guy. Yeah, you got it. The Ione floaty guy.
Yep, the Ione, the 343 Ione Spark.
There you go. You fucking nailed it.
Yep, thanks. Listen, hey, he is only allowing my character one question, so
you gotta save it.
Raiken doesn't get to interact with him at all, so it's his fault.
Save it for the most important moment.
Yep.
Oh man. Can't waste it.
Yep. The bad thing is, it's gonna be some question that Raiken thinks is like really important, and it's just gonna be some stupid like one-word answer.
Right. So the summary of this dungeon lately would be that the Lich seems to be projecting some kind of aura that is visible as a blocking field of purple magic, and when the players pass through it, they feel like they're being teleported to a new location, and they see some place, and that place has been different in every room. Every time they move through a door in a room, they feel like they're teleported and they're presented with a new location. And most of those locations have appeared, at least according to the more geographically and historically aware characters, to another nation that none of the players is really familiar with. None of the players' characters is really familiar with. But the history and geography buffs are like, no, everything seems to kind of match up with this other place. So we think that what we're seeing is some period in time, maybe now, maybe the future, maybe the past, of this other place. And every room is some other aspect of life there. So the players currently believe they're seeing moments out of the life of the person who became the Lich. This is supported by when the mage and the sorcerer were teleported by a fouled-up teleportation spell that landed them in a room where they viewed what appeared to be the memory of a great wedding. And they recognized one of the people engaged in the wedding was the previous champion of Kord, who lived some 500 years earlier. And so they've been quantum leaping, if you will, through different places and times throughout the dungeon, seeing, mansions in this desert oasis, seeing, dunes at night, seeing, monsters and corpses, and then finally they passed into this one area where they were standing in front of this mansion again that they feel like they've seen multiple times throughout the dungeon in different portions of this mansion, in different rooms, and they went into the tool shed that was out in the farmyard in front of it near the stables, and when they passed through that, they were teleported and they were standing inside of a dark temple, and when they investigated the area, they determined that it seemed to be a temple to Vecna. And Vecna is well known as a apotheosized lich, a lich who became a god, and became a god of undeath. And sometimes when people try to become liches, they perform their ritual and swear themselves to Vecna. Others who do this
also like secrets.
They also like secrets. He is the god of secrets. He is the whispered one. And so one of his major purviews is keeping secrets. So
Don't
that's
be a
been an
dirty
interesting.
Vecna.
Don't be a dirty Vecna. And so one of my favorite moments was after they saw this, they went out, they took another door, they got teleported onto a busy street in the middle of this oasis city. And when they turned the corner on this street, they were stood before the entrance to a temple of Cord. They went up to the entrance to the Temple of Cord, and after defeating a trap there, which tried to put them to sleep and give them terrible psychic damage, inflicting nightmares, they opened the doors to the temple, and they were presented with a vision of somebody who resembled the previous champion of Cord, who some people in the party think might be the Lich. And when she beckoned them in, they were like, "Oh, this is it. We found the boss. We gotta go." They walked through the door to approach as she had beckoned them in so that they could confront her, and they were teleported again to another area. All part of this illusion or perhaps enchantment. So it's been a lot of fun working with this illusory dungeon where things change from room to room. And I'm looking forward to the upcoming sessions, hoping that the players will find their way to the boss.
See, I didn't.
You broke.
Yeah, Cord was the.
You broke up a lot. Could you repeat that one more time?
That it was her wife that.
Well, the players, your character and the other characters are kind of still unsure. People are still discussing the possibilities of who might have become this Lich. Because
Raiken is not fully sure.
Nobody, as far as I can tell, nobody's fully sure, which is fine. But because there's open discussion, and discussion is good, the players are role playing and things are good.
But yet, people still didn't want to break the artifact when Raiken case.
Are you, by artifact, do you mean the
little sculpture
wooden doll of a jouster?
Yeah.
Well, they're not certain that it's what you think it is, so
it doesn't matter. It's better to be safe than sorry.
Well,
no, we need to keep it to preserve history.
I mean, you do have a person with you who has a vested interest in preserving knowledge and preserving history.
Freaking Lara Mendes.
Because he was chosen. The group's wizard had how do I want to say it? Vision, I guess. They had a vision of the goddess of knowledge, Ione. And she gave him a calling. She said, "You have proven yourself, worthy of my blessing. You go out of your way to teach people and preserve knowledge and then share it, which is everything I care about. So I want you to be one of my scholars."
Listen, it's not like it would be disintegrated. I just chop it. It's still being there.
Just
they
tape
can
it
still
back
put it in a
together.
museum like this wooden doll was an artifact from blah 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 blah.
It
That was
belongs in a museum.
cut in half by a strong paladin that was trying to save the world.
It's not part of it. Valiantly cut in half by a paladin of Cord.
Exactly.
I can't believe you stabbed me. Bravely stabbed you. So, that's the upcoming sessions will be interesting because they've finally explored, as far as they've determined, pretty much everything they can and are on the only path left to them. They have checked every branch, according to them, that they have seen. So,
I mean, as far as I can tell, we have not gone through 50 rooms.
I mean, there are clearly more rooms ahead. But, you have been very thorough. Which I am surprised by, and honestly, I'm pleased by. Because I wrote so much for this place, just the history of these characters, and I had been telling other people who are not involved in the campaign how much work I had done to create and try and create a plausible history for how this got this way, this person got here, why this, that, the other thing, all these interconnections. And I was like, but the players are never going to know any of this story because
you thought we were going to go straight through.
I thought they were going to go straight through, and that was going to be that. They would just go in, be like, you've got the thing we need, kill you, and then leave with it, and nothing would be learned. And that would be fine as well.
But we didn't.
But you didn't, and that's good.
Now we have so much lore.
I just realized that while I renamed the episode to the podcast, I didn't change the category, so it says we're playing Sea of Thieves. I think that's as good a note to end on as any. We've been here about 36 minutes.
Yeah, let's get the flip out of here.
Let's get the flip out of here. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and hopefully we will see you in the next podcast. And the next Everybody Loves Raiken next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on this Twitch channel with Raiken.
Bye.
Bye. Hashtag goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh yeah, the Player 2 podcast.
It's the Trizlex podcast.
The Trizlex.
Oh, gotta
Bring that picture back.
Bring that picture back. Oh, that's not what I want to change. Let's see if I can. I bet that's still on my computer too. Image.
It should be on my computer. Or was that the Malix guy? It might be the Malix guy.
I didn't realize that I needed to do that. Okay, that's why it wasn't working. Browse. It's gotta be around here. It's not gonna be in that folder. We are still broadcasting, but that's just so I don't accidentally cut off the end. And when Joseph likes the cooldowns at the end.
Chop it off.
No, I'm gonna chop you off.
Ugh.
Ugh. Trizlex chats. What? There's nothing in here.
Trizlex chat.
Player 4 podcast. Gotta be in there. Oh, is it in standards? I bet it freaking is. Come on, where are you? There it is. Oh, yeah! That's right. The Trizlex podcast.
Oh yeah.
Can I just... Of course I can. Boom. Yeah. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. One of the most horrifying pictures ever. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. Boop, boop. Nope, that's the wrong one. Oh, there it is. Boop. Okay. Good night, everybody.